Welcome. I'm Debbie House, Editor-in-Chief of Retail TouchPoints, and I'm joined today by Scot Wingo, who's the CEO of ChannelAdvisor. Welcome, Scot.
Hi, Debbie. How are you doing?
I'm good. So I know I asked you before we started the recording if you're exhausted from all the holiday activity, but it sounds like you're energized.
Yeah, tired but energized, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's been
Excellent.
good.
So let's get right to it. So first of all, who would you say were the big winners from the holiday weekend?
It was an interesting holiday period. We call it the Cyber Five, and we go from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday. And when you look at that period, first of all, everyone was a winner. So I think I would say online was a winner. So we were up 20.6% online, which is good. We're hearing NRF had a number out that they saw the Black Friday, 2 days of Thanksgiving and Black Friday down 11% at stores. So I think online's a big winner. Then within online, the leading channel that we track is called other third-party marketplaces, and that's marketplaces that are not eBay and Amazon. So that includes marketplaces like Sears, Best Buy, Walmart, things like that. That did really well, coming in at over 50% year-over-year growth. So definitely a lot of traction there. Then you had Amazon, eBay, and channels like that did very well, and search.
How many other third-party marketplaces are there?
There's a lot. We support 37 at ChannelAdvisor. So there's a lot of marketplaces out there. Some of them are international, like Tesco is a good example of one that's in that there. We've recently added support for Tmall, which is really big in China, of course, and then Mercado Libre in Brazil. That's not in those numbers because those are less than a year old. All of our numbers look at an annualized same-store sales basis to make sure we're not including a lot of new customers or new channels. So, but there's a lot of variety of marketplaces, and we're seeing more and more marketplaces open every day.
All right, excellent. So are there any particular trends that you saw over the weekend or the 5 days that you're talking about that you think are going to carry through for the rest of the season?
Well, it's really interesting, and unfortunately, we won't know until we see the back half of the year. But what I think is interesting is we're off to a really rip-roaring start. So everyone was predicting kind of a 15, 16% holiday. Here we are. We're seeing kind of a 20% start. That's great. One of the trends I thought that was very interesting was both Thanksgiving, which is traditionally a slow day, was very robust. And as you know, people are pulling up those Black Friday promotions. And then the Saturday after Black Friday was really robust, driven by Amazon. Amazon launched their Cyber Monday deals early. They called it a week of Cyber Monday deals, and then other retailers followed up with Cyber Week. So that was really interesting to watch that and how everyone's trying to jockey for position and drive the consumer earlier with some of their best deals.
Okay. And so were there any surprises that you saw, in particular, maybe what's going on with Amazon and possibly eBay?
I think Cyber Monday was kind of one of the low growth days of the 5 days there. That's a little surprising. It's still the largest day. So there's kind of two things. There's the scale and then the growth rate. It didn't grow as fast. It grew at 16.7%, which is not shabby, but just not as fast as the other days. So I think, we historically have seen Cyber Monday a little bit faster. And again, I think it's because the promotions got shifted up there. So that was a little surprise. Counterintuitive to that, eBay had a really strong Cyber Monday because they held their promotions for Cyber Monday. Also, eBay benefited from, we've seen a lot of stockouts of top electronic and toy items, and that seems to be benefiting eBay. A lot of consumers know that even though, the $50 toy, you may have to pay $70 for it, it will be at eBay. And so we're seeing a lot of that going on this year.
All right, terrific. So in your blog, you talk about omnichannel retailers and omnichannel retailers' success. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you're attributing that to specifically?
Yeah, I think the omnichannel retailers have gotten a lot smarter, and they offer very similar, if not the same, deals both in store and online, and that's great because not everybody wants to go wait in line and camp out for these deals. So I think they've benefited with that, and a lot of them are offering even kind of kickers online that deeper inventory effectively because your local store only has maybe 5 or 10 of something, and online you'll have hundreds. So we've definitely seen them get really smart about that and offer promotions both across online and offline, and sometimes in an integrated way.
Okay, and what did you see with mobile shopping this year versus last year?
Yeah, so with mobile, we look at two things. First, I'll caveat and say we include tablet and smartphone in our mobile data. Through the year, we've been going along at about 40% rate of mobile traffic traffic from mobile. We saw that spike up to right at 50% on Thanksgiving, and it stayed in the high 40s. So definitely kind of a 10-point gain there as we've gone into holiday. So that's the first thing, and that's flowed through onto the order kind of and the sales side. So definitely a spike there. Early in the holiday, we looked at the UK, and they're a full 10 to 15% ahead of us. So it's really interesting to watch that. Now, when I talk and look at certain retailers that really target the millennial audience, so primarily apparel and brands like American Eagle, Abercrombie, Urban Outfitter, what you find is they're already over 50% of their sales are from mobile. They call that their mobile moment. So everyone's really kind of still understanding how we optimize for that mobile buyer, and how do we figure out how to get the conversion rate up. One of the things we also track is the conversion rate by device. And what you typically find is the smartphone converts at about a third the rate of desktop. So as an industry, we still have a lot of room. There's a negative and positive to that. And the negative is, wow, that's a lot of lost sales. But the positive is, if we could get that gap to close, that's going to be a lot of extra sales. So a lot of retailers I've talked to they fully understand this, how important mobile is now, and they're figuring out how to close that gap.
And just to be clear, are we talking about sales influenced by mobile or sales completed using their mobile devices?
This is completed,
okay.
Yes. So we actually look at transaction data,
okay.
not attribution data or anything like that. So this is actual transactions that we're tracking through our software.
All right, excellent. So just any last minute thoughts on what to expect between now and the end of the year through Christmas?
Well, last year it was interesting. We saw kind of a U shape to the holiday where people shopped early, and then we had a little bit of a break in the first week to 10 days of December. And then on December 12th forward, they picked up again. So kind of a U shape, if you will. What we don't know this year is we definitely have the front part of that U. So with kind of a spike in the first 5 days. It's what we're going to be keeping an eye on is, does it continue? Does it look like last year with a U shape? One argument is that human behavior is hard to change, and we all procrastinate. So we kind of have those last minute procrastinators kind of make up those areas. Another argument that is interesting is there's been so much press around the delivery issues that we had last year. Something like 2 million packages that make it on time. I've heard anecdotally a lot of people saying they're shopping earlier to avoid that. So maybe this year it kind of starts up high and it kind of degrades over time versus that end pop. So it's going to be really interesting to watch that. The last point I'll make is, we're definitely seeing a lot of retailers use this period to learn about what worked in the first 5 days and kind of augment their promotional strategy going forward. One of the things that's hampering that is, I have heard a lot of people have kind of sold out of some items. And it's hard to replenish. So it's going to be interesting to watch, what are the next legs of promotion, and what are the things that are still in stock that people can start to dwindle down.
Do you feel like retailers learned from their experiences from last year?
I do. The one area that's still kind of being interesting, and we could have a perfect storm, is the shippers, the UPS and FedEx of the world, are telling retailers, hey, move your final day to ship up pretty significantly. Let's make it the 17th or 18th. As we've surveyed retail sites and looked at the details, most retailers have not responded to that. So I'd say that's the one area where I think, promotionally and marketing, they've learned a lot. I think the one area where they're kind of stubbornly digging in their heels is that not wanting to give up any of those last minute sales. So hopefully the millions, the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars that have been invested can handle things if we do have a back end kind of lift that happens.
It remains to be seen. So we'll be watching, and we'll connect again, I guess, maybe after the December holiday, and we'll check in and see if your predictions were correct and where we all end up.
Yeah, that sounds great. We've got tons of data coming in every day, and we'll have it updated regularly on our blog, and look forward to diving into it with you in the future.
All right, terrific. Thanks so much, Scott, for joining us today, and happy holidays to everybody.